Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Santana, aka Tana's Book Diary, and I'm back with another video. Based off the title, I will be giving you 5 books that I always recommend anytime you're in a book slump. I'm currently in one. I try not to acknowledge it because if I acknowledge it, then I feel like it's real and I'm really upset about it. I started Oathbound, I'm like 10% in, if anything, and I'm listening to Junie on audiobook, and I'm about 25% into that. But I feel like after rereading Legendborn and Bloodmarked, I've kind of put myself into this book hangover, this book slump, and I was like, let me just film a video about books that got me out of a slump, and hopefully I can get out of my own. But yeah, let's get into it. I don't want this to be a long video, but I have these 5 lovely books. All of them are heavily annotated, so I can definitely tell you these are great, okay? So the first one I have is Thirsty by Jazz Hammonds. This is their second book. We Deserve Monuments is their first, which I consider like one of my top books of all time, just because when I read it, I devoured it. But I want to recommend Thirsty because it's young adult. We follow this young girl. Her name is Blake. She's dating this girl named Ella, and they both are in high school, seniors, about to graduate. They join this sorority called the Serena Society. We follow Blake as she's dealing with alcoholism. I don't want to say grief, but like the stages of realizing I am an addict, and part of the reason is because of this sorority, or like the sorority only amplified her addiction, as well as her relationships with Ella and her other friend. I can't think of her other friend's name. Blake experiences a lot of peer pressure, some hazing is going on, addiction, loss of friendship, loss of a relationship, some identity issues, and also like some classism is involved. So I feel like this was a short read. It was 318 pages. I flew through it. I annotated like crazy, and I was like writing, like yelling at the screen. Yelling at the book all throughout. I was just like, Blake, stop. Like, I can see the future. Had me stressed. And if you like books that kind of have you feel like you're in the friend group, or you care about these characters so much that when they make these mistakes, or when they do these things, or people do something to them, you feel like you're hurt, or like that's your friend. So yeah, I always recommend, this is a great book. Gives like, you know, Euphoria vibes, or what is that HBO show? It was canceled. I didn't watch it, but I know it's similar, like We Deserve Friends or We Don't Deserve Friends. It's a Luca Guadagnino show. I'll put it on the screen. I can't think of the title. That's the first rec. My next one is Chain Gang All-Stars by Nana Kwame Adije Brenya. I pray that I'm saying that right. I have annotated like crazy. This is so dystopian. So dystopian. So if you like anything about mass incarceration, if you like things where it's like gladiators fighting to the death, think Hunger Games, but then add Hunger Games, make it black and brown and LGBTQ+, make it they're incarcerated and not from poor districts, they're just incarcerated before that. Then they were like, they had the opportunity to join these games, Chain Gang All-Stars, where they can fight for their freedom. If they win and get to a certain level, they gain freedom, but it takes a while. So it's not like win one game, boom, you made it, because there were people who were here for decades. We follow Loretta Thurwar and Hamara Hurricane Stacks. They're a couple, and they're both a part of the Chain Gang All-Stars, and it's like a whole group of people. So to make it like unserious, it's kind of like, think like Suicide Squad, where it's like the bad guys have a chance to do something good, and then they'll get their freedom, but like in the end they really didn't. And so then you can kind of see where it's like, wow, even in this moment where we thought we had a fair chance of like gaining freedom, we still in the end were used and disposed of because no one truly cares about our well-being and rehabilitation and like reintegrating them back into society. We just use them for our own entertainment or gain, and that's basically Chain Gang All-Stars. There were so many quotables. I loved how Nana put like cliff notes or footnotes at most of the chapters where it will talk about, oh, asterisk, 13th Amendment freed slavery. Actually, it didn't. If you commit a crime, you become an indentured servant. For example, in part 2, where it talks about chapter assignment craft, it says, asterisk, solitary confinement has been consistently found nationally and internationally to induce anxiety, paranoia, hallucinations, depression, panic attacks, memory loss, and other cognitive defects. And it was talking about how Simon Kraft was in solitary confinement, and he was in there for a long time. And he entered in the games, but the way he fought in the games was due to being in solitary confinement for so long. So though it's a game, it's also a deep dive into the prison system and how we just lock away people and we often don't think about what's happening in there, who's being affected, are they really getting the help, do we even care if they get help? Like, this book is just so good. Please read it. I was underlining like crazy, and as someone who wanted to work in reentry programs and help reintegrate those who were incarcerated into society again, this was really good. So if you're like me who studies sociology, you might enjoy this. I got you. This will get you out the slump, okay? My third book, They're Vicious Games by Joelle Wellington. This was my first book by Joelle. I loved it so much. Again, I tapped like crazy. This is Hunger Games meets Pretty Little Liars meets Gossip Girl. It deals with classism. It deals with racism. It's a fight to the death situation. And it's wild. Adina is enlisted into this prestigious academy called Edgewater Academy, and she, among a handful of other girls who happen to all be white except one other girl, I believe she's Asian, were all chosen to fight to the death for this one scholarship to this academy. Now, mind you, Adina is not a descendant, but you know how like your family graduated from a school and then you're that next person? She's not that. She doesn't have any family that went to Edgewater Academy, so she's basically going in as a new person. And so she already has a target on her back for that. And then you add that she's also Black and doesn't come from a rich, wealthy family. So people are already like, she's out, we're gonna get her out. But things start to happen, girls start to disappear, people are dying left and right. And not because of the game, but because of other things that are happening behind the scenes. And so this book will have you on the edge of your seat, turning the page. Like, you do not want to put this down. I remember reading this last year just being like, Joelle, what? She does have another book called The Blonde Must Die First, which was really good, but this, top tier. My fourth book, Black Top Wasteland by S.A. Cosby. Honestly, any S.A. Cosby book will get you out of a slump because his books start and you're in it. Like, you're just like, where am I at? I'm in the middle of some chaos. Like, you don't get any filler chapters. Like, every chapter will have you paying attention, sitting up, sitting on the edge, okay? But Black Top Wasteland was my first book by S.A. Cosby, and I actually have the signed version. And it's my only physical copy, actually. Everything else I listen to audiobook. I heavily recommend the audiobook because Adam Lazar White is the narrator for all of S.A. Cosby's books, and his voice is so distinct, but he knows how to make every character sound different and fleshed out, and I really enjoy listening to it because he just has an ominous and like captivating voice. Like, I never want to like not listen to him. So I hope that he always works with S.A. Cosby. I believe for his new book, King of Ashes, he is also the narrator, so I'm excited. But Black Top Wasteland, we follow Beauregard Bug Montag, who is now a mechanic. He's a husband, he's a father, and he's kind of like left this old life of being a getaway driver and, as they say, in his rear view, right? But things pop up, a need for money arises. He says, I'm gonna do one last job. But that one last job gets him caught up, okay? From there on, it's just a wild ride, literally. He, as in S.A. Cosby, does such an amazing job at just being so descriptive. He does a great job of, every book is in Virginia, like Southern Virginia. And as someone who has a ton of family located in Virginia, it's so vivid. Like, I can see where he's at, I can see what's happening, and I just love that aspect about him. And I also love that it's a black male lead. All of his books are black male leads, and they're always so complex, very morally gray. So you're never rooting against or rooting for, but you always see, okay, I get where they're going or what they're doing and why they're doing it. So I love that they're so complex that you can't say yes or no to them. They're here, you know? So any book, honestly, by S.A. Cosby is going to get you out of a slump, but this one specifically will. And my last book is You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight by Kaylin Byron. This is a nice short and sweet read too. Honestly, shorter than Thirsty. Yeah, 226 pages. As summer's rolling around, I highly recommend this because this will have you shook up, okay? If you love a summertime horror, slasher-esque young adult, this is the book for you. We follow Charity. She's working her summer job at campgrounds where it's actually a horror house. You can tell I don't go to these. It's a haunted campground. So it runs during the summertime and it's themed like a haunted house. So they do scary things that you see in every cliche young adult scary movie. You know, I Know What You Did Last Summer and Scream. All of those movies, just think of that in this book, but they do it as like a show. So people can like get tickets and come in for a day or like stay for the weekend and get like scared and spooked for the whole weekend. But what happens is people actually start to die. It's not fake anymore, it's real. People are dying and people don't know who's doing what and they can't tell what's real and what's fake. You just gotta read to know who makes it to the end. I ate this up. This was a perfect like summer ween book. So you might see this in another video because I definitely wanna do some summer reads or some good horror reads. I'm not a big horror person, but like this book made me want to get into it because I was like, who's doing what? Where? There is some homophobia touched on, some racism, and just all around gore, just gore and blood, you know? Like it's pretty descriptive for a young adult book, but I enjoyed it. And doesn't she look like Kehlani? Like that's so random, but that's who I envisioned playing her. But yeah, I enjoyed that book a lot. These are my 5 reads that I recommend if you're ever in a book slump, or if you just need some book recommendations because you're like, I want to spice up my TBR. But anyway, let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books, or if you plan to read any of these books, or if you have any book suggestions that got you out of a reading slump, because I'm currently in like a mini one right now and I really want to see, or I really want to read something different and something that'll get me excited. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. As of right now, I believe I'm at 43 subscribers. So I really appreciate all of you guys for subscribing, commenting, liking my videos. I can't wait to continue posting more for you guys. See you in the next one. Bye.